Hello and welcome to channel Code with Piyush. I am Piyush. Today we will learn about Azure Cosmos DB and NoSQL. So today's topic is about introduction to Azure Cosmos DB and NoSQL. We will go through what is NoSQL, what is Cosmos DB. We'll see how to create a database in Cosmos DB in Azure. I'll quickly let you know what is local emulator and how to use it. Then we will do create one container in Azure Cosmos DB which we have created, and then we'll add some documents in the container. We'll try and query those documents. We'll also see multi-model APIs which are available in Azure Cosmos DB. We'll quickly touch base on automatic indexing in Azure Cosmos DB, and then I'll wrap up the things. So just to let you know, this particular course I'm creating is an introduction to Azure Cosmos DB. So I'll be letting you know in short for a developer what is an Azure Cosmos DB, what do we need to do to start with, and what are the things that are that we are not aware of because we might be from a background where we have used relational database and this NoSQL is completely new to us. So let's start. So what is NoSQL? So NoSQL doesn't mean that it doesn't have SQL. What is SQL? SQL is structured query language. So does that means that Cosmos DB or NoSQL doesn't have SQL? No, it is not like that. So it's a term introduced, but it has nothing to do with what is NoSQL. Actually, what does NoSQL is mean is that it's completely opposite of what we are doing in RDBMS. So so it does not have an fixed schema. That's the important thing about NoSQL. So there are a couple of problems with relational database systems we have been working with. So relational database systems were introduced in early 90s, which were sufficient for catering the application in 90s and 2000 with limited data. The main problem with RDBMS is when we have started growing our applications and started growing our data. So nowadays we have terabyte and petabyte of data available with our applications. And RDBMSs are not really designed to handle that much of data because we can scale up easily with RDBMS. Means that we can go from say storage from 500 GB storage to 1 TB storage or more, but there is a certain limitation on the higher side of the higher size of the database. We cannot go like petabytes and all more than that. But today's modern world web applications may require petabytes of data. So because it processes even terabytes of data daily. Take an example of Facebook. We can have around about thousands of status updates or lakhs of status updates every day. Take an example of Twitter. We have lakhs of tweets every day. This is huge data, really big data, and we RDBMS cannot handle that much of data. So how to handle that? So to handle such large amount of data, we really need big data, and that is solved. That can be possible only if we are able to scale out our storage databases. So RDBMS are not designed for scaling out, but this NoSQL or any new NoSQL databases like Azure Cosmos DB, those are designed to scale out easily. So that's why we need to go with NoSQL database. There is one more problem with NoSQL, not NoSQL. There is one more problem with RDBMS is that modifying the schema. Modifying the schema in RDBMS is not straightforward, and you may need at some times you may need to take your table or application offline, and then only you can do that. But doing that in today's world or taking your application offline is not an option. We want applications which are always on. So again, Cosmos DB or NoSQL solves this problem. It is very easy and quick to modify your schema in Azure Cosmos and NoSQL. So that is why we need to go with the NoSQL in future, or not even in future. We should have already started it. Okay, so so we know that there are multiple options we have today in for NoSQL, like Cassandra DB, MongoDB, Apache DB, and OrientDB and Cosmos DB. So Cosmos DB is most powerful and most feature-rich database out of those, and that's why I'll suggest you to go with Cosmos DB. You can have your own options, but Cosmos DB provides you couple of important features, which I'll let you know just now. So important thing is that it has multiple schemas available or multiple models available with it. If you want to work with document JSON documents, then you can go with SQL API or MongoDB API. If you want to work with graph database or graph data, then you can go with Gremlin API. If you want to work with columnar DB, then you can go with Cassandra API. If you want to go work with key value, like you have worked in table storage in Azure, you can go with table API. So these many options are provided by Azure Cosmos DB, and that's why I'll suggest you go with Azure Cosmos DB. So there one more concept that I would like to let you know. It is about three V's. So in today's world, these three V's are very important. What are these three V's? The three V's are volume, variety, and velocity. So volume, as I mentioned, is about size, and you can have virtually unlimited size if you go with Azure Cosmos DB, because you can scale out your database by doing horizontal partitioning. Variety, as I mentioned, variety is about having different types of schema or different types of data. As I mentioned, JSON data, columnar data, graph data, or key value data. And velocity is about high throughput, high availability, low latency, consistency. So these things can be easily achieved with Cosmos DB, because Cosmos DB is stored in uh, Azure's data centers, which are spread across world. We have almost we have Azure have data centers in all the regions in world. I guess the number of regions is around about 60. I am not exactly sure, but it was around about 54 to 60 some days back. So this gives us high availability, because we can have replicas of our data, and about low latency that can be provided if you have your database close to your users. So again, that is possible because Azure has data centers in most across world, most of the world. Okay, now let's start with creating Azure Cosmos database. Okay, so I'll just pause this video for now, and I'll show you how to create the database in Azure SQL, Azure Cosmos. Okay, right now, um, I would like to let you know that there are couple of ways to create Azure Cosmos DB. One way is through Azure portal, and then another way is through setting it up and on your local as a local emulator. So local emulator, you can do it by installing local Azure Cosmos DB emulator on your machine. And the advantage of using local Azure emulator is that you don't need to pay anything for that. It's completely free, and it is exactly how you will be getting it through Azure portal. But the only thing is that you will not be having the global distribution that you may get with Azure portal. So what you have to do is just go and download the local emulator from Azure Cosmos DB website, and then start using it. It's exactly same as what you will get through Azure portal. It is very much useful if whenever you are doing some development, you can try it out on your local, test it over there, work on it, and then you don't need to pay anything for that. You just need to just go on production and create an actual Azure portal Cosmos DB in Azure portal, and then only you will have to pay. So I'll just show you how to create a Azure Cosmos DB. So you can see that this Azure Cosmos DB is one of the featured uh, application service. Let's create. Okay, so as you might be aware that resource group is nothing but a logical group of resources in Azure. So I'll create a new resource group over here. I'll just name it Azure Cosmos RG. Okay, then I'll need to provide an account name. Just see. Okay, Piyush Cosmos. Okay, this account name should be globally unique. So I'm lucky that this was not taken. And then this is important thing. You have, as I mentioned, you have multiple options for data models and API. So for this particular instance, I'm selecting Core SQL. You got again MongoDB, Cassandra, Azure Table, and Gremlin. We'll be touching base on these other APIs as well in our future videos. But for this video, I'm just showing it for SQL Core. So SQL Core again is a very strong API model supported by Cosmos DB because it provides you operations, transactional operations like creating store procedure functions, and which are very helpful while developing your application. Okay, so I'm keeping all the other things as standard only. I don't need production account. Okay, about these two properties which are very important. Right now, I'm keeping geo redundancy as disable. If we keep geo redundancy enabled, then we may select another region. Like right now, my primary location is West US, so I can pair it up with another region like East US, and that means that we have redundancy, a replica of the data in East US as well. So this will make sure that my application is highly available. Then multi-region rights is again disabled right now. That means that if I select say geo redundancy enable, and if I select multi-region rights as enable, that means that users can write the data in our West US application as well as to the East US database. Okay, now I'm not selecting any of that application. Let's go to, I'm keeping this standard. I'm not writing any tags over here. Let's review and create. Okay, so I'm pausing this video for now because I'll need to, it might take some time to create this Azure Cosmos DB. I'm pausing it. Okay, now I have created the Azure Cosmos DB. It took me around 8 to 10 minutes to create this Azure Cosmos DB, and we can see that deployment is complete. I'll just go to the resource. Okay, so we can see that congratulations, your Azure Cosmos DB was created. So we will see in overview what is our Azure Cosmos DB looks like. So you can see that it is kept in West US. Then this is the URL for my Azure Cosmos DB, piyush-cosmos.documents.azure.com, and looks like you don't have any containers yet. So that means that I have not created any container in it. So what is a container? So container, it's not the same as exactly same as database table, because that is the important difference between an RDBMS and NoSQL. There is no schema, there is no relationship. So we can have container per entity type, or we can have a common container for multiple types. Containers are not directly mapped to entity. Container can have multiple entities as well. So we need to decide whether to create one container or more container in a database. So, and the decision is made by understanding our requirement and what requirements for our partitioning and our throughput. So again, the decision can be changed in future as well. There is no problem with that. So let's do one thing. Let's start with creating a container. So I'm going to add a container over here. Okay, so over here, you can see that database, whether do you want to create a new database or use existing. So right now we don't have a database, so I'm creating a new database. So over here I'm taking an example of storing data for a family or multiple families in our country. So we can have crores of families in India, right? So we are creating a database to store documents or data of all the families in India. So I'm creating a uh, database named as families. Okay, then the important decision is about deciding this throughput and what should be the container ID. Okay, so what I'm doing is so decision choosing a partition key is the important decision. So over here, what we can do is that our document family document contains name of people in family, what is their address, and what are the names of kids. Okay, so over here, I can do the partitioning based on the zip code of the address. So that means that will help me to physically store the details of all the family's data which are in a single zip code. So with that way, we are keeping the data together physically together, we can horizontally partition data for families from other zip code in a different storage. That means we have virtually unlimited storage available. So let me create it as an address slash zip code. Okay, and again, this is throughput is nothing but it is delivered in the terms of RU, that is request unit, and we pay for higher performance level and as well as lower performance level, but the cost changes from lower to higher. So for now, I am selecting 400 RUs, which will cost me around about $23 per month in one region. So I'm keeping the indexing as automatic over here. I'll come back to automatic indexing in next video. Okay, so sorry. So I have entered container IDs as address zip code, which is incorrect. Actually, container ID should be family. Okay, then I'm entering partition key as a address and zip code, and I don't want to mention any unique key over here. So container ID, just let me see if I can change my container ID. Unique identifier for the container and used for ID based routing through REST and all SDKs. So I'm keeping it as a family only. So we have created a database called as families, and we have selected throughput as 400 and partition key as address slash zip code. Okay, so let's create that database over there in our Azure Cosmos account. So we can have multiple databases in our Azure Cosmos, but of same type. As I selected SQL API earlier while creating my Azure Cosmos account, so I'll be able to create only SQL databases, SQL data models in our Azure Cosmos. So if you want to create MongoDB API, MongoDB model and access through MongoDB API, then you will need to create another account in Azure Cosmos. Okay, so now you can see that in families we don't have any items. So items is nothing but documents. So let's create one document over here. So let's go and create a new document over here. Okay, so over here ID, we can mention our ID, or we can have by default standard GUID over here. So just to note, one important point over here is that our every record in our JSON document database is identified by using the partition key and ID. So it is a combination of partition key plus ID over here. So we can uniquely identify any record across the world by using the partition key and ID. So just to make sure that the GUID will be always, just to make sure that we have uniqueness over here, it's better if we go with GUID, because GUID will be always unique. And even if we change in future partition, if we change the partitions, as our GUID will be unique, we won't be having the duplicate issue. Okay. So I'm removing this ID from here and I'm adding SQL JSON document which I have already created. Okay, so over here you can see that we have created a JSON document which contains family details like family name, which are the who are the parents in the family, what is the address and kids. So you must have observed a difference over here is that this one record is completely different than what we store in SQL database. So this is a very complex data, right? We have array in in our particular record. We have a complex object called as address in our record. If we want to create the same thing in Azure SQL or any SQL database, RDBMS database, we might have needed multiple tables, each for storing address and then people and then family. And then we would have required foreign keys to associate or relate those data uh, with each other. So this is very straightforward and simple, and we don't need to worry about the relationship over here. So let's save this item over here. This is how we create the one particular document. You can see that this ID got created uh, for this particular document, and we can query this document by using that ID as well as some other standard filters like parents, address, and zip code. So let's do one thing, add one more item. So I will show you one more problem that was there with RDBMS and how do we fix it. So over here you can see that I have added one more column, one more property in our Azure Cosmos database, which is pets. So you can see that this is very straightforward and very easy to modify your schema, which is not possible that easily in any of the RDBMS. So let me save this document and I'll show you how to query our database. Let me pause this video for a second. Okay, so you can see that this document is also created over here. And now you must have observed two different things over here. We never define schema upfront as we do in RDBMS. And second thing is this above single document represents what we usually required to do. Uh, in RDBMS, we might have required multiple records and multiple tables with foreign key. So this is a completely transition from highly normalized database in case of RDBMS to denormalized structure. So we don't have any schema management and it is easy to modify properties as they come up in future. So let's see and query our database and see if we can query and get the data. So select star from C where C dot address dot zip code or say city equal to Pune. I'll just execute this query. Okay, so something might have missed over here. Okay, let me pause this video for a second. Okay, I have found the issue. Actually, it was single quotes. I was earlier putting it into double quotes. Now, if I execute this query, I can get, I should get two records. Yeah, this is the first record of Kumar family, and the second record is from Patil family. So we can filter it out on the zip code as well if you want to do that. So this is how basically we do querying in Azure SQL, Azure Cosmos database. So, as I mentioned, I will be covering the other topics in detail in future videos. I'll be focusing on horizontal partitioning, then distribution and throughput, and then again using different types of APIs and data models in future videos. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening.